Hello, Good Life travelers. Good to be with you all. We got the dynamic crew here together again
It's been a morning already.
for another Travel Talk Tuesday. I'm biting my tongue right now because I've been on hold all morning for the last 2 hours, working with a vendor. So it's good to be with you all.
This is what we do.
Yes.
A lot of time on hold.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we know all the hold music. And
It's great. I love it when certain companies, they just have like a 10-second hold and they just play over and over. Luckily this morning I heard like everything going on in this office of about 50 people. I think they were having alarms going off.
the best part is they kept calling you ma'am.
Yes, so she knew I was Michael, but I was ma'am. And the first time I'm like, wait, is that what I heard? So then I put on speaker so they could hear it.
Yeah.
And so,
It was
yeah.
funny. Yeah.
Quite a morning.
Hey, did anybody watch The Bachelor last night? The Bachelorette?
For as much as I could stomach it, but yes.
I don't watch that garbage.
So they went on a Virgin
That was cool.
ship.
Oh,
Yeah.
Was the whole thing from there? Like the whole episode? Like,
they
is it
went-
worth me watching just to see the ship?
They went to Paris, and then like the guys had to go on. I think it was the Resilient Lady or the Valiant Lady.
Yeah.
They had to go on the Valiant Lady and like wait for the girls, and then the girls went and they showed
Wait,
on the
is
ship.
it one guy and multiple girls, or one girl, multiple
Two
guys?
girls and multiple guys. It's a Bachelorette.
It's
Yeah, it's my guilty pleasure.
it's too much for me.
Yeah. It was a lot, but it was fun to see the ship.
It was.
Makes
We
me
saw
want-
Trace Agave. They were.
Yeah.
They ate
Pink
there.
agave.
Or pink agave. Yeah. I'm thinking of the tequila. Trace Agave.
You know where her mind is. It's not too early for Chrissy.
Oh, always on my mind. But yeah, and then they showed the wake and the dock house, and
Yeah.
it was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Makes me want to go on a Virgin
Yes.
cruise.
Yeah.
Tamara's ready to do another Virgin Cruise.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
good.
gonna do a
Oh.
Virgin.
That's good. Well, before we dig into our real show today, instead of all this complaining and girl talk about the Bachelorette show,
Ma'am.
I have to clarify. So after last week's Travel Talk Tuesday, you two gave me a hard time about some of my vocabulary, and one of our wonderful viewers called, and what didn't the lady call to correct about the culturate.
Culturated.
Culture. Remember, you were on the phone after the show, and she said it's not a word.
Oh, yeah.
So I
remember
apologize
that.
that culturate is not a word.
It wasn't a word.
Although every year Webster's Dictionary adds, 100 new words. So I'm going to start an appeal and a poll and a campaign to get culturated as a new word in Webster. So if you'll join me in that, that'd be an important, a good cause to get behind, I think. Right?
Yeah, I think cultured maybe covers the word already that you're looking for.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have an open mind and expand my vocabulary and your vocabulary, all the people watching us. So
You learn something new every day.
there you go. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're gonna talk about cultured trips. All right, that are gonna culturate you. Okay, all right. So we do. We have a long list. Let's. My mind is still on this.
Yeah.
My friend on the
A little
phone.
frazzled today.
Little frazzled today, but we have a laundry list of topics for these Travel Talk Tuesdays, and so this week. I thought it'd be nice if we focused on cruises a little bit, a little selfish, believe it or not,
Believe it or not.
So Tamara had this grand idea, and she said, why don't we look at pre- and post-cruise ports? And I think that's very important because nowadays, as everyone I'm sure has heard, and you guys know, and we've all dealt firsthand, is with all the airline issues and headaches, we pretty much... I kind of demand or ask, highly recommend, force that everyone goes, if you're going on a cruise, to get to that port city at least one day before. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure the same is true for tours. All-inclusives, the party's waiting for them no matter when they show up. But so we recommend getting to a port city one day ahead at least. Now,
You don't want to miss the ship.
you don't want to miss the ship.
No.
Because you want to make ship happen.
That's right.
Is that what Virgin says, right? So we recommend that. Okay.
Yep.
Luckily, as we're going to see today, our cruise ships, these cruise ships, at least in the United States, leave some amazing port cities, right?
Yep.
And so we thought we'd kind of look at these port cities and see what there is to do, not just for that one day pre-cruise, but maybe sometimes people want to go 2 or 3 days before because there's a lot to do in these port cities. My Alaskan cruise is actually leaving out of Vancouver, which is a city a lot of people want to see. The Olympics were there, lots to do. So there, I know there's a group going 2 or 3 days early. Yeah. So a lot of these cities that we're going to talk about today, these pre-cruise cities, have a lot to do for at least 1 day, if not 2 days, before the leaving for the ship. Because there's so much to do, there's also the opportunity for a post-cruise opportunity as well. I'm saying opportunity a lot because there's a lot available in these cities, a lot to do, a lot to see, a lot of opportunities to extend that cruise vacation.
Yes.
Yeah, make almost like 2 vacations out of 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's more than 2, because when you go on a cruise, you're hitting like 3, 4, 5 ports, so you're getting to see a lot, and then you add this front or back end or both, and you have a nice little trip. Plus, sometimes cruises, some people relax, some people go intense, go, and so a day in a port afterwards is not necessarily a bad idea to kind of ease back into the before you go back to work, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So what we thought we would do today is to go through the cruise ports in the United States to kind of see what they offer, because a lot of times, I know I've sent plans for cruises on like a Royal Caribbean. Someone was interested in Royal Caribbean, and 3 different ships from 3 different ports, and the lady said, what's the difference? Very little differences in the 3 ships, but the 3 ports were very different. Mm-hmm. And she ended up choosing what she thought would be a slower port that'd be easier to get in and out. All the ports are easy to get in and out nowadays, but she wanted a different port instead of one of the 2 big ones. And so it's important to look at the port cities as well. So that's what we're going to do today.
Yeah.
That sound good?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so we have our little assignments, believe it or not, and the ladies have their cheat sheets, even though no cheat sheets were permitted. And that was part of the rules that you didn't listen to. Typical. And what we're gonna do, what we're gonna start with is Tamara's gonna look at the East Coast, which I think is appropriate now because a lot of people are gearing up for the leaf peeping cruises.
Leaf peeping.
We've set some itineraries. We have some people booked. Leaf peeping is big.
It's big.
And people want to go the leafs. They want to see the crabs, the lobsters, the whales. It's a good time to go up the East Coast in New England. And you guys, if you've booked some tours or you're looking at some tours up in that area, so it's a great area, whether you're on land or by sea. So what kind of ports? We're looking at the New Jersey, New York port. We're looking at Boston. We're looking at Baltimore, right?
Well, I went a little bit west, and I started with Chicago. Chicago and
We're
Detroit.
talking New England. Listen to her. Breaking the rules again.
Yeah, well, it's important because people can drive there. So you can go you can take the American Queen Voyages or the American Cruise Line ships out of Chicago and Detroit. And those are both really easy drives. Like I went to Chicago for a day and came back. They're not hard drives. But those are good
In one day?
Yeah, I did.
I did it once, and it was not pretty. Believe it or not, the stress, it was not pretty. That's a lot of...
That's a lot.
Like, I'm getting revved up thinking about that drive again.
You can also take the train from Sandusky to Chicago.
That's a good idea.
Easy. It leaves very early in the morning.
Yeah, super early.
If you go first class on the train, you can stash your luggage in the lounge at the train station in Chicago. They'll watch your luggage for you. And then you can go out and enjoy the city before you go check into your hotel for the night.
Well, that alone is probably a nice benefit to get the first class. I mean,
yeah.
Because you're going to be comfortable. They probably give you extra perks. But then if they
Yeah.
store your luggage, because, that's a big big value right there.
Right. And you don't have to worry about any of that. There's a little luggage room. It's nice. They have snacks and drinks at the lounge.
I've never done that train ride. Is it a big difference between first class and the rest?
Well, yeah.
Where I normally would be.
We actually got a sleeper car, and it was really nice.
What's the price difference?
I don't remember.
Is it like double, or is it?
Maybe, but it's not that expensive to go to Chicago, really. It's like it's maybe like a 5-hour train trip, maybe a little more. Yeah. But they pick you up here either like at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. And it was nice to just like roll out of bed here, park your car at the station, roll into bed on the train, and then you can sleep and then have breakfast, and we can even take a shower on the train if you want to. And then you roll into the station in Chicago maybe 9:30 in the morning, and you can get on with your day. So I like to travel that way. On the way back, it was nice too because it's a late trip back. I don't think you get into Sandusky till like 12:30 in the morning, but having that sleeper car is really nice. You don't need to get that. You can just get a first class ticket. But so Chicago, I'm sure a lot of our viewers and clients have been to Chicago, but that is a great city to explore. Great museums, great restaurants, great shopping. I like the architectural boat tour that goes
I've
up and
done
down
that
the
one.
river.
That's a good one.
One place I think you've been there is Italy, which is
Oh,
Italy,
yeah.
it's a
I
big
think you must have
chain.
been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love to go there. I feel like every time I go to Chicago, there's something new to explore. So Navy Pier, we can
That's a
put
good
together.
clubs down there too. Some comedian clubs.
Yeah, there's a tiki bar. We went to a tiki bar once, which was really fun.
Yep.
3 dots and a dash, maybe
Yep.
is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yep.
So there's all sorts of things to explore in Chicago, and we can definitely plan something for you if you'd like to go there for a few days. Big bus tour, hop on, hop off bus.
Favorite. Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. You can go to a sporting event. You can go to theater,
Yeah.
concert.
I saw Hamilton there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
that's
Escape to Margaritaville
Oh, yeah,
there.
you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You wouldn't go.
No.
You went to the bar.
Surprise, surprise.
We met you after. At the
That's
bar.
right.
Hey, let's refocus on cruises, people. This is my show.
That's right.
Cruises.
Don't go
So,
off the
anyways,
rails.
if you depart from like Chicago or Detroit, I'm not going to talk about Detroit because to me, I would just drive there and get on
Yeah.
the ship. But you can take a cruise through the Great Lakes. You can go up through the St. Lawrence Seaway, stop at the Thousand Islands, which is a beautiful area. Quebec City, Montreal. It's a great local cruise. You don't even really have to go that far to get on a cruise ship. It stops in Cleveland, one of them, but it's great for leaf peeping as well. Now, the St. Lawrence Seaway is a really cool place to explore if you're on one of these smaller ships. It's a busy waterway, so you'll see lots of freighters, you'll see people in kayaks, you'll see great homes along the shores. The Thousand Islands area has 1,400 islands with really big castles on some of the islands. It's a beautiful place. Highly recommend that. Okay, so now we'll move to New England. Sorry. And there are
Doesn't
ports.
follow rules.
The rule breaker.
Yep. All right. Let's go. Let's restart. All right. It's time for leaf peeping. East Coast, New England area. Taylor, what do you got?
You can leave peep on those other
Baltimore,
ones, too.
Boston, New York, New Jersey.
You got Portland, you got Boston, you got Providence, Rhode Island. Again, those are serviced by the smaller cruise line, the American Cruise Line, and the American Queen Voyages. They will take you up into New England for leaf peeping. You can also, I think Carnival and Royal Caribbean, especially from Baltimore, can take you up towards New England as well. And if I was heading that way, I mean, there's lots to explore in Baltimore, Maine, but I think I would send clients to Newport, Rhode Island, which was the place for summer cottages for America's very wealthy people in the late 19th century. And they built cottages, but they're really mansions, castles. They're amazing. They're all kind of concentrated on Bellevue Avenue in Newport, Rhode Island. And, hit 2 or 3 of those houses and it's kind of a fun day. I don't know if it's your thing, but it's my thing. So I like to do that stuff.
It's your thing.
Great seafood, a little walk along the cliff walk in Newport.
Okay, so for a cruise, pre-cruise, post-cruise, there's a lot of options that are within a drive on the East
Yeah,
Coast.
yeah.
And certainly, as everyone's well aware, the New York, the New Jersey, Boston, Baltimore,
Yep.
infinite things to do. I mean, if you're going to go out of New York, New Jersey, there's a week's worth.
Yeah,
I mean,
New York has tons to do. Theater, museums, shows, etc. Baltimore has Fells Point and the Inner Harbor. I lived really close to Baltimore when I went to graduate school, and we used to love to go to Little Italy. It's like an authentic Italian neighborhood, which kind of has faced some challenges lately, but great restaurants. You'll walk around, you'll see people playing bocce, and it's just really cool. Out of New York, I wanted to mention you can go anywhere in the world on a cruise. Out of New York, you can go to Sydney, Australia. It takes 39 days, but you leave New York and you go down to the Caribbean islands. You go on the east side of South America, and then you make that
my
turn.
vacation request is in. I'm sorry, not vacation. My work extension request, out of the office request, is on your desk now for that particular cruise.
There's some you can go Middle East. A lot of the transatlantic crossing cruises go out of New York City. And again, there's lots to do in New York. Heading south, Norfolk, Virginia has a port. And that's close to Washington, D.C. Baltimore is too, but if you were in Baltimore, I would suggest 3 or 4 days. Spend a couple days in Baltimore, but also you can go down to Washington, D.C. It's a very easy train ride down there. And you can also go to Annapolis, Maryland, which is the capital of Maryland. It's not very big, and it's really beautiful. And you'll see lots of great boats in their harbor area, really old bars, the Ram's Head. We love the Ram's Head in Annapolis. So I really like that area. And it's only a 7-hour drive from Sandusky to Baltimore. So...
And you forgot Boston. Boston is a great
Yeah.
port, and in Boston, my favorite thing are those little duck tours. You know,
Oh, yeah,
they're
the
like
duck
a
boat.
bus, and then it turns into the water thing. One sank a couple years ago, but they're safe. They're fun. They're great ways to see all these cities. A lot of history though. For all the history
the
buffs.
I love
Freedom
Boston,
Trail
yeah.
in Boston. They have a great Italian neighborhood as well.
Yes, they do.
That you can go through.
Yep.
So heading further south, Charleston, South Carolina, another beautiful American city. Lots of history there, lots of great places to eat and shop. And then I'm going to end in Jacksonville, Florida, which I'm not a fan of touring Jacksonville necessarily, but just about half an hour south of Jacksonville is St. Augustine, which is America's oldest city, and it's beautiful. I was just there a few weeks ago. Great Spanish architecture, lovely shops, parks. It's a great place to just hang out for a day. Tour a couple little museums, shopping, eating. Sounds like my kind of day. Maybe a little drinking.
Yeah, lots to do.
She says, eating, looking at me, drinking, looking at Chrissy, and she knows she's got us hooked, you know?
We're in.
Now, Jacksonville, though, Columbia, one of our favorite restaurants, has one there,
I
too.
forgot about that.
That's
Yeah.
one of our favorite restaurants.
I love
Yeah.
The 1905 salad.
Yeah.
Let's have that for lunch.
I don't know about the salads, but okay. So, all right, I'm going to take the torch from Tamara, who didn't follow directions. Actually, you know what? If we're going south, I'm going to jump in first to Chrissy because Port Canaveral would be the next one as we're working our way down. Port Canaveral, as you're aware, is near Orlando, so this is Chrissy's kind of motherland, you know. So, Chrissy, tell us.
So I will be leaving for a cruise in a couple weeks out of Port Canaveral. And it was interesting kind of looking at this research because I'm not really familiar with it. As much as I've been to Florida and Orlando, I've never gone to the Space Coast, is what they call it. So I found a couple things to do in Port Canaveral. Cocoa Beach Pier and Beach. So it's a cute little area with a pier with restaurants and bars and little shopping and a beach area that you can hang out in. So if you wanted to do a little relaxation when you came back, like you said, that might be a good stop. And of course, Kennedy Space Center. So that is at Port Canaveral on the Space Coast. And I need my glasses. So at Kennedy Space Center, I did a little research here. Ooh. You can see past space exploration missions, which I am a space shuttle freak. So
I never do that.
Oh my gosh,
either.
You never talk about that.
I watched all of it. Yeah, I really liked watching those. You
Back on black and white TVs?
No, it was color.
We're not that old.
So you can see the past, you can see what's going on now, and you can see what NASA's working on in the future. You can even plan your visit around a live rocket launch. So SpaceX is launching a rocket on August 4th. So their website will tell you when rocket launches are coming up, and they have an exploration center where you can, like a tower, where you can watch them, which I thought that would be kind of neat if it was coincides with your cruise.
Yeah, coordinate that.
Yeah, so I think that would be a great day. Everything I've read about it is just an amazing place to visit, and it's just, full of information and history and all kinds of good stuff. And as you mentioned, you are about an hour away from Disney World and Universal. So there are shuttles that will take you, Port Canaveral shuttles, that'll take you from the port in Port Canaveral and get you to the parks. And then most people fly out of Orlando then, which that's what we're doing too. Yeah. So that was my little.
And I think it's not just for kids. A lot of people think, we'll take our kids to Disney World and jump on a Disney cruise. And they sell that package. It's a great deal, just a great experience. But I think adults can have a blast that too. We all know that we've all had fun at Disney World ourselves. At Epcot, to go spend a day or two there or at Universal Studios and then to do that quick ride over to the port, that's a nice little trip.
Yeah, get away.
To spend that the pre-cruise in Orlando
Right.
is nice then. Yeah, there's plenty of shuttles, like you said,
Or you
transportation
can rent a
options.
car, but yeah, there is transportation options where you wouldn't even need to rent a car.
And you're close to the Bahamas from that area. Like
Yeah.
that's just a day over to the Bahamas.
Yeah, there's short cruises out of
Yeah.
there too. So
Yeah.
even if you don't want the big 5-7 day
Right.
cruise, you just want a little getaway.
Which
You
is
could
it.
pair that.
Exactly. That's even more reason to add a little trip before or after.
Yeah, so if you have the 7 days, but you don't want to cruise the whole time, you do the 3-day, 3 or 4 night cruise, and you spend a couple days in Orlando, and you got a good variety. And I think no matter your age, you're going to have a blast with that.
Absolutely.
All right, this is good. Good ideas. Okay, so then we go a little bit south to the 2 biggest ports in the world for cruise ships. We're talking about Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Big ports. Everyone's familiar with them because if you've cruised more than likely, more than once, you've probably cruised from one of these 2 ports. I link them together because they're very, very close. It's
Yeah.
an easy ride, Uber ride in between the 2, and there's so many attractions that hit both. So if you're in Fort Lauderdale, there's stuff in Miami it's easy to get to, vice versa. So no matter what kind of cruise line or cruise ship you're going to be on, these are big ports there. So a lot of opportunities from these 2 ports. For me, I like a couple things. First off, there's infinite tours, which any of these ports offer. So if you're doing the pre or post cruise and you want to do like an excursion kind of thing or a tour or like the duck thing, I like the food tours, believe it or not, the city tours where they have the taste of the city.
Yeah.
And they've got some really cool ones in Miami because of Little Havana, Little Haiti.
South Beach.
Yeah, the Creole area. I mean, they got everything there for these food tours, which are my personal favorite. For our lushes, they have pub crawls, they have drink tours, wine tasting. They have all those kind of tours too. History buffs, infinite numbers of museums, historical tours about the city. There's a lot of history down there,
yeah.
especially with the cultures of people that have that immigrated to Miami.
Right.
You think about all the people that have escaped Haiti, the dictatorships, they
Yeah.
escaped Cuba, and it's really a rich culture down there. A lot to see and a lot to do in those ports
For sure.
from that culture side, to become more cultured, if you will. Okay? Also down there, there's a lot of casinos. Now, I'm going to be honest, some of the casinos I probably wouldn't go in, but there's a beautiful one that's a Hard Rock Cafe one that I've been to, and it screams, both of you guys like to spend a few dollars in a casino. You've been known to do this. So if you don't want to just gamble on your cruise ship, you want to actually have a chance before or after, the Hard Rock Cafe is a great, beautiful resort. A lot of fun. It's a fun casino to stop at.
Yeah.
Other cool places, Margaritaville. There's a wonderful Margaritaville.
That's a great. Are you talking Hollywood Beach?
Hollywood Beach, in between
I
the
love
2
that
cities.
resort. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
For shoppers, this whole area has so many different kind of shopping, whether it's indoor, outdoor malls, whether you're looking for outlets, premium or regular, whether you're looking for harder to find stores. Like my favorite store is down there. There's a couple of those down there, Vineyard and Vine. So shopping, there's everything big and small. Big box, small local stores, boutiques, national chains, boutiques. Thank you. Learning new words today. So really, Miami, Fort Lauderdale has a lot.
Yeah,
they do.
The other thing I like is that for pre and post cruises, it's easy to give options of locations because there's so many good locations. Jacob went on a cruise down there. I said, hey, do you want to be in a little boutique hotel by Los Alamos or whatever that road is there with all the shops and cool restaurants? Do you want to be right on the beach? Or you want to be more closer to the airport area that has some other kind of option. So there's a lot of different variety all close together, easy to get around. Yeah. Even my muscular body will walk these areas. It's really not bad. A lot of these places, at least in Fort Lauderdale, you can walk to the port if you want for, it's 10 minutes, no less than 10 minutes, and even I can waddle down there, So, a lot of options, fun cities, as you know, and there's some really cool tours. Little Havana is just an amazing place. Lots of cigar shops, delicious food.
There's
go ahead.
Great hotels. Like if you want a luxury hotel, you can stay at the Versace Mansion, which is really beautiful.
I should have known you were going to plug that. That's your place.
Well, I like to go there for lunch. That's where I'll go before we go on a cruise. I'll go to the Versace Mansion and have lunch. But you can also stay there. And we visited somebody who actually was staying there once, and holy cow, those rooms are nice. But there are really, really nice hotels.
I splurge at Popeyes before I go. But what I think is a good point there is for these cities, all the cities that we've mentioned, ports, there are a huge range of hotels. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I mean, low end ones that we would recommend at $150,
Sure.
all the way up to $700-800 a night,
Yeah.
or even more if you're gonna
Right.
stay at Versace.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't tend not to recommend for pre and post cruise, a $29.99 a night hotel.
No.
I mean, I love my people, and I don't
Absolutely
want
not.
them. If I'm not gonna stay there, I don't want you to stay there. But in a reasonable range, 150, all the way up to 700-800. I mean, there's literally a hotel for everyone's taste,
Sure.
and a location for everyone's taste, a tour for. I mean, there's a lot of options in these two port cities, and I think because of them being the largest port cities, there is so much to do and see.
Do you know a couple things? You can get a day pass to some of these resorts. So if you're not going to be a guest at the resort, but you want to use their spa or their pool, you can buy a day pass. We can help you with that. Also, if you fly into Fort Lauderdale, but your cruise is in Miami, the last time I was there, we got off of cruise in Miami, and I was staying in Fort Lauderdale. I took the Brightline, which is their high-speed rail. That was super nice, super easy. When I got off of the Brightline in Fort Lauderdale, I could take a car for free to my hotel.
Wow.
That was part of the ticket. They took care of my luggage. It was like
Wow.
it was like a 20-minute train ride, but they served us cocktails on the train. In the 20 minutes, and snacks.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
For low end travelers, there's also another train
can
option.
take that too.
I
It's
did the
not
low
that
end,
expensive.
but
It's
I did a
Brightline.
cheap one for like $16. It wasn't Brightline,
You can take Brightline even cheaper.
and it was a little bit longer. It was the scenic route, and it was interesting. But I mean, like it wasn't Brightline. I don't think. Remember we talked about that.
Brightline's like bright yellow. You would
Yeah, it
know.
wasn't Brightline.
Yeah.
It was a different one, but it was another one from airport to
Yeah.
airport,
This is about a $60 Uber ride between like Fort Lauderdale Airport,
which
and
isn't
Miami.
bad. I mean, if
No,
you think about
not really, but
so lots of options. I
Yeah.
think what we're trying to say,
Yeah.
and that's where I guess we would really try to tailor it to our clients
Yep.
based on that. Okay, so now we're gonna move. Westward, and we're gonna hit New Orleans.
I love New Orleans.
These are like the queens of New Orleans here, so
Big
get ready,
fans.
everyone.
Okay,
Brace yourselves.
So if you're going out of New Orleans, you've got to do a poster pre.
Oh,
I mean,
for
you have to.
sure.
So New Orleans, tours and attractions. So you've got ghost tours, cemetery tours, swamp tours, neighborhood tours. You can ride the cable car. You can visit the World War II Museum, which I haven't been there yet, but I heard it's life-changing. It's a wonderful place to visit. Visit Jackson Square, have a beignet at Cafe Du Monde. I mean, there's so much to throw into your day. Hotels, there's so many adorable, historic,
Boutique.
boutique
Our word
hotels.
of the
We
day.
stayed at a lot of them.
Lovely,
Yeah.
with lots of character and
Yeah.
history and right in walking distance of everything.
One of the hotels I stay at when I go to Mardi Gras, at like 10 o'clock at night, serves peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and hot chocolate.
I know.
Which I
it's
think that's so cool.
It is. And that's where you're going to find character
Yeah.
and history is in New Orleans. The music scene. I mean, you could talk about that forever. You can visit Frenchman Street for amazing jazz, the Spotted Cat. We've been there several times. Wonderful music, wonderful scene. Just, I don't, it's just, there's just so much to love with New Orleans.
You should go to New Orleans even if you're not taking a cruise.
Yeah.
It's that good.
And we'll
of a
help
city.
you with that because we know where to go and where to stay, and it's
What bars to drink at?
Which bars to drink at? It's
Maybe.
not all Bourbon Street. A lot of people think, "Oh my God, it's debauchery
No.
on Bourbon Street," and it's not the case. I mean, that's a place to visit, and
You gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta go, but there's so much more to
Oh,
it
so
than
much
that.
more.
Lots of music and bands on Bourbon Street, and the food. Okay, the food. You can attest to this.
I'm hungry.
The gumbo, the jambalaya, the etouffee.
Etouffee.
There's, I mean,
Banana
po'
Foster.
boys, Banana Foster. So much good food in New Orleans. So yeah, I mean, we could go on and on. There's so much to do there. I also looked online. They have over 130 festivals every year. So you could tie it into Jazz Fest, Mardi Gras. I mean, there's so many things, even smaller, on a smaller scale, tie your pre and post cruise into to a stop for a festival.
When you leave on a cruise ship out of New Orleans, I don't know if people realize this, you have to go down quite a ways on the Mississippi River before you get to the
get
Gulf
out,
of
yeah.
Mexico.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
To watch. I think it takes about 6 hours to get down to the Gulf of Mexico, so it's fun to just sit on the ship and watch as you cruise down the Mississippi River.
Yeah, that is. I
it's
didn't realize that, but
it's
yeah,
a
that is
great
a neat
city
That's a
pre-post.
neat thing to do too.
Two important things you forgot.
What?
Okay, first, there's a nice casino.
Yes, there's
Right,
a
downtown,
Harris. There's
nice
a Harris,
casino.
right downtown, and
Lot
I
of fun.
think they're redoing it a little bit.
Loose slots. It's good.
Loose slots.
Uh-huh.
I lost.
I lost too. So
I didn't.
You didn't. I remember.
So
yeah.
that was good. The
Yeah.
other thing is, knowing that we were going to talk about this today, I would have thought you would have brought some beignets, maybe homemade, to share.
Yeah, I'm not much of a baker. She could have made the beignets. She's the baker
Kind of a letdown
of the group.
as we talk about this.
But yeah, you'll be covered in powdered sugar. It's just don't wear black while you're eating
With
them.
chicory coffee.
Oh, so good. Gotta go there. So even if you don't cruise, go there.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And cruise ships, they all change their itineraries. There's a time where a bunch will be there, sometimes there's not as many there, so it kind of comes and goes, but a trip there is always worth it.
I think Disney's been cruising out of
Yeah.
New Orleans, which that's a
Oh.
like a premium line. So
It's interesting pairing, thinking about Mickey Mouse
I
and
know.
Minnie going through...
I think he's got a naughty side.
The Big Easy.
I'm going to quickly shift this before we get to Pluto, okay? All right, we're going west, so we're going to hit Galveston next.
Okay, so I had Galveston, and to be honest with you, I really don't know a whole lot about Galveston. Is it a newer port too?
Well, no, they've been cruising from there, but
Okay.
it's like an up-and-coming port. So a
Okay.
lot of the cruise lines are building beautiful new terminals there. I think realizing that Texas is a happening place to be.
Okay.
And it's easy place to, if you're going to do especially the Western Caribbean, it's an easy port to get to, or to leave from. So I think it's going to grow as a port city
Okay.
because of they're spending less money with new terminals.
And I think from what I read, there's a lot of history there as well. So this could be another good stop for you pre or post cruise. They have an amusement park there, right there, called the Pleasure Pier, which I know is going to get some giggles, but that's what it's called. Wait till I tell you the name of the water park. So Galveston, this is an amusement park in Galveston with roller coasters, rides, food, carnival games, just a cute little stop, especially if you're on a cruise with your family. Or they have a water park that's open year-round called Schlitterbahn.
Oh, Schlitterbahn. I think Cedar Fair owns or manages
Really?
Schlitterbahn. Yeah.
Okay,
Is that German?
I would assume. But I had to really be
What
careful
it
when I
means.
pronounced that. Schlitterbahn.
What does it mean?
It means culturated.
Culturated. Yeah, you should know that. You're the culturated one of the group. Okay, so there's also a big area called the Strand. And the Strand is a big area where you can walk to different restaurants and bars and shops. And it has a lot of historical buildings there as well. They have the Galveston Railroad Museum. They have hotel ghost tours as well. The Grand 1894 Opera House and a Galveston Children's Museum. So, as you said, I think things are up and coming, but it's full of history and, might be a neat place to put on your list.
Yeah, I think a lot of people hit Houston with it because it's so close together.
Yeah.
Do a lot of stuff in
But-
Houston, but if that's really going to be a growing port, I bet over time there's going to be more tours,
Yeah.
more things to do, more hotels
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
You fly into Houston to get to Galveston.
Yeah.
I think it's about an hour maybe down to Galveston.
Yeah.
And so you probably would rent a car, or you could probably drive from here, but it'd be a little bit of a
Right.
drive.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
still drivable.
It is, but
New Orleans is too. Like I think New Orleans. We drove to New Orleans for a cruise. It was 14 hours
Wow.
maybe. But I would fly now. You can get cheap flights.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you don't like to drive, do you?
Not 14 hours. Good
I
lord.
won't drive anymore.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Now, I think if you had a group going, here's my what I think would be fun. If we had a group going on a cruise, a fun cruise, we'd have to find the right fun cruise. We rent an RV, okay? And I think an RV that you can ride in, and I think part of the experience is, you load it up with food and Pepsis and cards, and you head down. I think that could be fun.
That would be fun.
With a group of people, and hitting the stops, and you don't have to stop overnight. I mean, you could rotate drivers,
Yeah.
and then you could just do it stop. So part of the fun is getting there. I think that could be interesting.
That would be, a nice
stop
way
in
to drive.
Nashville maybe on the way.
Yeah.
Talk about the new tourist up and coming. We
Yeah.
should do a whole show on
I don't think
Nashville.
there's any
Yeah.
cruises from Nashville.
Not yet.
There's no water around Nashville.
I don't know.
good
Is there? I have
geography,
to look at a map.
Probably a stream or a little river or something. So we'll do a show on Nashville because
Yeah.
there is a demand for Nashville right now.
Yeah.
So, all right, good. We've reached Galveston. Now we're going to head west some more. Unless, Tamara, you need to cover anywhere as we're going west?
Nope. Well, we missed Mobile.
I knew you. Okay, go ahead with Mobile.
I don't know a lot about Mobile.
I didn't do
It's a you can drive there. It's probably a lot like New Orleans. They do have a cruise port, and Mobile's kind of up and coming. A lot of people go to Orange Beach, which is not far from Mobile.
It's right on the coast.
Yeah, It's on the
Yeah,
Gulf.
that's a big area
Gulf,
now.
yeah.
Those big houses
Yeah.
people go to.
Yeah.
Now, I thought it was more of a stop on some of these smaller cruises, not an actual port of
It's a port.
embarkation. Okay, there you go.
There you go.
All right, so we're gonna head west, and we're gonna hit the West Coast now. So there's a lot going on the West Coast. A lot of people are relooking at it as cruise options. I did a cruise out of Los Angeles not too long ago on Royal Caribbean's Navigator of the Seas. They amped up that ship and are doing trips all up and down the coast north, hitting the Rhine country, all that good stuff, going down south. We hit Ensenada, Catalina. A lot of them go to Los Cabos, one of your favorite places. Some of them go into Mexico. It's also a great place for cruise ports that are going to Hawaii. If you're talking about Hawaii alone, only Norwegian does the full island start and stop around the islands, which is a great cruise. We got a group booked there in September. But a lot of the other cruise lines, most of the cruise lines have where you can leave from Los Angeles, San Francisco, or Seattle and go to Hawaii, hit a couple islands, then head back. That's a lot of time at sea, if you ask me. I mean, I usually like time at the ships, but that's a lot of time at the sea. But those options there, a lot of cool West Coast going up to, we've talked about that, looking at Princess's Cruises, some of the options that they have there. And certainly looking at Seattle going upwards to Alaska, Vancouver, all those places. So a lot happening on the West Coast, a lot of new itineraries, a lot of fun itineraries. I like looking at Los Angeles as a starting point because that's one of the big ones, and Seattle's one of the other big ones. San Diego has a couple. San Francisco, I've heard has a couple, but I've heard that, but I haven't seen it.
Portland, is Portland port city?
Not big anymore.
Okay.
It's mostly Seattle, but
Vancouver.
Yeah, and Vancouver is getting big.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the big places to go. Certainly, we start with big LA. I mean, you could do a whole show of what to do there. I mean, we could book
Disneyland.
Disneyland. There's all the city tours.
There's a Universal there.
Hollywood tours, the Universal tours,
There's
the
so
Walk
much.
I mean, you can go peep at celebrities' houses tours.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it is fun.
Santa Monica, isn't that near there? Santa
Yeah,
Monica
Santa-
Pier.
yeah.
Yeah, beautiful sights to
Yes,
see.
yeah.
I mean, and then these mountains for you nature lovers. There's hiking stuff to do, and like all the ocean stuff. There's infinite stuff to do in LA. So I think that, I mean, you dream it, they've got it there for you to do for LA. Looking at Seattle, we book a number of stuff out of Seattle because of the whole Alaskan cruise. That's a big port, along with Vancouver as starting points.
Yeah.
Lots to do in Seattle. Lots to see that Space Needle, right?
Yeah.
A lot of tours, city tours, historical tours, and bring your umbrella tour.
There's some islands in the Seattle area that you can go visit. You can go to the mountains, which aren't very far away.
Beautiful places, though. I mean,
beautiful places.
breathtaking views all up and down the West
Yeah.
Coast. I mean, there's a lot.
Alaska Air is now flying out of Cleveland, so we should be able to get some better airfares to the West Coast, Seattle in particular, out of Cleveland.
Yeah, I wish they would do more nonstop. I mean, that's a little frustration, but maybe if we plug it here, because everyone watches this Travel Talk Tuesday, then I'm sure Alaska Airlines will listen and they'll add more nonstop.
course.
But a lot of good air options there. A lot to see and do with wine country being there. Again, California, you could do a whole week out there, up and down the coast, well, more than a week. But I mean, if you wanted to do a short cruise or a long cruise, then spend an extra time. I know one of my couples going on the Alaskan cruise are going to do a little hopper from the end of our Alaskan cruise in Anchorage. They're going to head down to, I think, Portland, and then drive down the coast.
Pacific Coast Highway?
Yeah, and then see some family, see the sights, and really
fun. It's beautiful.
Our thing is a week, and they're going to make another week of kind of going down the coast.
That's so worth it.
Yeah. I did going north on that with my sister once. We rented a convertible and started in San Diego, and it was just, it's beautiful. Those little towns, and then the food is just...
The views.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the movies,
It really is.
So a lot to see, a lot to do on the West Coast. You want to do something in Honolulu, or?
I mean, we can just mention that is an option. I think you already said something. But there's also Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah,
which,
the other island.
that is not hard for us to get there. And then you're already further south to start your cruise.
Yeah.
So you can hit the Southern Caribbean from San Juan. But Puerto Rico itself is a great place for pre and post cruising.
Yeah.
Like, I would recommend at least 3 or 4 days, either pre or post if you have it. Old San Juan is amazing. We know places further south that are great to visit.
Yeah.
It's just a really unique, diverse island.
Yeah, we got a family that's doing a family cruise out of there.
Yeah.
And I think they're all doing different amounts of time. See, the pre and some doing pre and post because, again, it's easy to tie in an extra 3, 4, 5, 7 days in
Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Whether you want to do the historical stuff, the food, wine, culture stuff, or just the beach stuff,
Right.
or casino stuff.
Yeah.
They've got, everything there
Yeah.
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah. I really like Puerto Rico.
I do
It's a
too.
cool,
Yeah.
cruise port that we almost missed. So good thing Tamara did the islands. Good. All right. Well, I think we've covered a lot of cruise ports today, and I think what it
Yes.
all boils down to is that we're here to hold your hand and give you additional opportunities, whether it's that pre or post, to take advantage of. You've come to this far to those locations, these
Yeah.
ports, and these ports offer amazing things to see and to do as cities for pre or post cruise. So why not make it a double vacation,
Right,
yeah.
or just add a few extra days to your cruise through these cities.
And you don't have
Absolutely.
to fly. You don't have to go to. It's not just Miami and Fort Lauderdale for cruises. You can drive to a lot of places, and it's not just going south. You can go north too. There's lots of cruising options.
Yeah. Lot to see, lot to do. So connect with us, and we will start planning your dream vacation. So sounds exciting, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, that was a lot of information we covered. Yeah. So now we are going to jump, though, to updates about the Good Life Travel Company. We got a number of group options coming up. If you haven't been to our website, www.tgltravelco.com, on the top there's a travel button. You scroll down, there's groups or upcoming trips. And you want to go on there and it'll list a variety of different group travel opportunities that we have going on. And the first one I want to focus on is what we talked about last week, is our Ladies Living the Good Life, their inaugural trip to Christmas markets.
Yep.
What do you got?
Prague, Vienna, and Budapest with stops along the way. 9 days, 8 nights. Cannot wait. It is going to be an amazing tour.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of fun. Great fellowship. Interesting places to visit. A couple of castles. Probably some pastries in there. Coffee. Good food. Maybe a little beer.
Yeah.
Maybe a little wine.
All right, so ladies, if you're interested in learning more about that trip or
Let
interested
us
in
know.
booking, joining the group, these two
Come have
ladies,
fun with us.
for some reason, are the chaperones, which worries me more so about the one. Tamara is
say,
probably the responsible
Tam's
one.
not
so,
gonna worry you.
so if you want to learn more, book about this trip, book into this trip.
Let's have some
either
fun.
Go
Yeah,
to the
come join
website
us.
or call either of these two or
Yep.
email either of these two ladies, and they'll begin helping you get on board with the Ladies Living the Good Life, those European Christmas markets.
Get a jump on your shopping.
In December of this year. So an exciting trip there. Only ladies, just a reminder, okay? So the next group trip after that we have planned is our Escape the Snow, Meet Up with the Snowbirds cruise, actually starting from Puerto Rico that we just talked about. And that'll be in March of 2023. Join me and many others who will be looking to escape the lousy weather, the cold,
Perfect time to
and the
do that,
snow. So come down in March of 2023. Join us in Puerto Rico. We're going to hit the Southern Caribbean. A lot of great stops. Beautiful ship. Food, drinks, tips, Wi-Fi, all that included for a pretty good price, if you ask me. And again, you can take advantage of our information to do a pre or post cruise trip there in Puerto Rico, and we'll get you hooked up there. And reasonable airfare.
Yeah, no, you can, yeah.
The airfare queen I'm looking at.
Well, hopefully. Airfare's crazy right now. You just never know.
But a great cruise there.
But that's why you need us, because we can leave us on the job. We'll keep checking for you.
Yep.
Yes, and I'm the next cruise then, the group cruise then would be in Alaska in June 2023. We have about two or three cabins left in our cruise and cruise tour. That's the 7-day cruise and 4-night land tour portion. About three cruise cabins left there. We also still have plenty of rooms in the 7-night cruise only. That'll start in Vancouver, go up to Alaska. A fun group, I can tell you that. I'm going to be the chaperone of that tour. And so, again, it has...
Nobody's worried about that. Right?
No. That's why that's growing so quickly.
Your mom's going, right?
You know, she's going back and forth. I don't know if she's going to join us or not. So, again, that includes the accommodations, the awesome food, drinks, Wi-Fi tips, all that good stuff. Great experience and the beauty of Alaska. So, if you want information on that, reach out to me. I can send you some awesome videos about the ship, about the cruise, and information about that trip. And then we don't have full information, but there is a tease on that website about a possible trip to Puerto Rico for educators. Fridays.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
still floating out
Yep.
there. So teachers, if you're interested in next summer going to Puerto Rico, I think the way we're looking at it, planning it, I think there's some CEUs teachers can get for this, that continuing education units. I think you can marry the CEUs with a fun and beautiful and amazing trip to
And
Puerto
they'll
Rico.
learn. They'll learn too.
That's the CEUs.
okay.
That's the learning.
Yeah.
Come on, Tamara.
I'm more about the fun than the learning.
Yeah.
You know that.
It'll
So-
be a nice balance of all.
Yeah, and I think so. Teachers, if you're interested in that, reach out to us. We can put you on the email list. But I think stay tuned for more information. And then another trip that I don't think it is on there. It's a tease, and I don't know if we're allowed to say anything more than a tease. But maybe go see some real leaping leprechauns in Ireland. Is that
Yeah, you can tease that.
okay? When are we thinking next?
We're thinking May.
Oh, May.
Yeah, we're thinking May. Yep.
Okay, so if you're interested in Ireland, which I know that's on a lot of people's
Yeah.
bucket lists, reach out to us or stay tuned to that website or certainly on our social media. We'll talk about Ireland. But if you're looking at Ireland, land tour, fun, exploration. There's the motherland of the Jameson place where they do all those different wonderful drinks.
Guinness.
And Guinnesses and
Yeah.
pubs and history and
Cliffs of Moher and Ring of Kerry and
yeah, a lot there. So
yeah.
that could be a fun one.
It will be a fun one.
That's going to be a good one. So stay tuned for that if you're interested in Ireland.
Yeah,
And I think is that where we're at?
I think so.
So a lot of groups up and coming. I know Tamara wants a million more, but that's where we're kind of at right now. We're also very busy. We just
are
had
busy.
another record month in July. And so, we did this last time, and I think it was interesting to hear. What's one trip you're working on now, or you just booked that you want to share that's really fun or different? Tamara.
So I'm working today on a family trip to Portugal. So Grandma and Grandpa are coming from this way. Their daughter and her family are in Nigeria. They're going to meet in Portugal for a week, and then Grandma and Grandpa are going to travel through Spain after that. So, yeah. So that's fun to me.
Chrissy, you got anything fun?
Yes, I did some training last week, and I'm working on a couple Rocky Mountaineer trips, which is a luxury train trip. There's a few different itineraries you can choose from, both Canadian Rockies and in U.S. Travel during the day, hotel stays overnight in the cities to explore. And after I did that training, what an amazing trip these look
Yes.
like. So I'm very excited to be working on a couple of those.
Those beautiful panoramic cars
Yes.
with the windows that go up.
Up and
it
over,
just-
so you can just, through the whole day, go through the Rockies and just see beautiful sights and wildlife and how different times of year you see different things based on when you go, based on the seasons. But what a first class operation it is. So,
We were talking about it in the office. It blows my mind, and I think we're going to do a whole Travel Talk Tuesday eventually on this Rocky Mountaineer because it's a different way to travel, and it seems like they do it well.
Yeah.
Oh, very well. Yeah.
And I hadn't heard of it, so all of a sudden we had like 3 requests for these Rocky Mountaineer trips. So it must be big out there.
It's a seamless trip. When you're on the train during the day, when you get to the city that for your overnight, your luggage is brought in. You don't check in. You just go right to your room. They have your luggage there. You're on your own. You can explore. But while you're on the train, it's all inclusive. So you can have cocktails, breakfast and lunch. It's relaxing, reclining seats. Like Tam mentioned, the glass ceiling, so you just have unobstructed views of the whole trip. So
and knowledgeable people on the train that will
Yes.
explain to you what you're
the
seeing.
train will slow down if they see something animal wise or historically or geographically that they want you to see and point it out to you, and it seems just like a great trip.
Yeah. They have
It's a bucket list for some people.
high
so.
customer satisfaction.
Yes, yeah,
rating.
very high. So
Yeah, I'm intrigued by the whole thing because
Yeah.
it's new to me, and we were talking about what it looks like and how you travel like that. So we'll do a whole show on that Rocky
Yeah.
Mountaineer, right?
Yep.
And that'll be interesting. That'll be coming up soon too because it's
Yeah.
a lot of opportunities for different travel there.
Yep.
For me, I'm doing a lot for our group travels right now. A lot of
Yeah.
booking into the Alaskan trip. We've been booking a lot. Booking into the Southern Caribbean one I just mentioned. So that's been taking up most of my time. Two things I'm working on, because Tamara pushes these groups, and they are fun. Two that I'm working on in the future. We're going to be on a new ship in 2024 in the Caribbean. Our Escape the Winter, we're already working on Escape the Winter in 2024. And it's going to be in January 2024 on one of the newest ships out there. I'm just going to tease with that. Really looking forward to that. Done a lot of training on this ship. It's going to be nice. And the second one, just doing some preliminary work for the Mediterranean. I mentioned that for 2024 as well, and that'll be in the summertime, looking at June.
2024 seems like a long ways away, but they're booking up so quickly. You have to.
These cruise ships. Well, all the cruise, the whole travel industry is just booming right now.
Lane tours.
Yeah.
But to find open spots in these cruise ships is becoming very
2023,
difficult.
yeah.
2023.
And some people thought, 2022, I can get in like last minute. There is nothing. I mean, there is nothing. Last minute.
Yeah, there's a little land tour availability. Not much.
It is crazy just how busy
You got to
it
plan
is.
ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one benefit of these groups that we're looking at for 24 is that once we announce it, there's early booking bonuses. So just like the Alaskan one, we have another week or two left. You get $200 onboard credit if you book by a certain date because you're doing the early booking. The same will be for these 2024 cruises that we're looking at as well. So stay tuned for another Escape the Winter 2024 and a Mediterranean cruise 2024.
Awesome.
Busy.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, fun.
Busy around the office.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to talk about, ladies? I feel like we've gone long today.
We probably did.
I did.
Tamara will be happy. Roy's probably crying. The dog's crying because
seen
misses
him
us.
today.
He misses us, but and the phone's probably ringing off the hook. So I think we'll probably end there.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much,
Have
everyone.
a great week, everyone.
We will see you next week, same time, Travel Talk Tuesday, and have a good one. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.